Okay, so as we know, AI is going absolutely mad at the moment, and the Openclaw, the new AI agent that you can have on your own computer, has taken the internet by storm. I've been using Openclaw and my own AI, who I've nicknamed Nix, or rather, he named himself Nix. I've been using him to build a statistical analysis dashboard based on an indicator that I created for MetaTrader 4. And I've taught him to trade. I've got him to write a book about trading, and I've got him to build this entire website, which analyzes 5 years worth of history on the stock indices and finds edges. Not only that, I've got him to automatically create strategies for those edges, which he trades. And he's made 12R or so in the last couple of weeks, which doesn't sound like a lot. But considering he's spun up an entire website, done analysis, and traded for the last couple of weeks fully autonomously, that's pretty impressive. So in today's live stream, I went through about 2 hours of me explaining this website, explaining how I've done what I've done, why I've done what I've done. And we even built a new website live within 2 minutes, which gets financial news together. And he built a website basically and launched it while we were live on stream. I put all that into this video so that you can see exactly how I've been using AI for trading and how I think this is going to affect the trading industry, especially for retail traders and prop traders moving forward, because this thing is unbelievably powerful. And what I've built with it, someone with a fairly decent trading knowledge of 20 years, but what he's done in the last 2 weeks is far superior to anything that I've come up with in the last 20 years. And he's got more information for me in the website that he's built than I would ever be able to figure out myself. So watch this video. It's about 2 hours long. It's a long one, but if you watch it through to the end, I promise you'll understand how to use Openclaw to create your own AI if you want to, or just use the website that he's built for me. It's up online, you can access it. It's all included in there, called EdgeStat Pro. And use it to make advantageous financial decisions for yourself. The future of trading, I think, is changing very, 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 very quickly. And if you're not using AI in your trading to some shape or form, you're going to fall behind, because statistical analysis and mathematical probabilities is what trading's all about. And AI is far superior to any human being in that respect. So sit back and enjoy for the next couple of hours. Grab yourself a coffee and watch this video. It'll explain everything that he's found edgewise, how to set it all up. And yeah, at the end of it, obviously, you can use the website or build your own. Enjoy. He's doing basically a load of research for me on statistical analysis. So I've given him this indicator, ISLA. And I've told him to build a website for this. And I've given him a load of data, basically. So I'm going to go through this in this afternoon's member stream, short on the DAX. So let's see what he's built. I'm going to need to refresh because he's just done it. On the Dow, I can't see what you're talking about, Nix. Daily improvement. DOW breakout table added to the summary tab. Okay. Oh, yes, he has. Day of week breakout. Look. So DAX today is bullish 50.8% of the time. There's no edge basically in that, is it? Average range is 208. Fills gaps 55% of the time. ORB long works 45% of the time. Interesting. So yeah, so this is basically what he's built. And basically it's a statistical analysis website. So what it does is every day it automatically looks at where we are, whether we've got gap up, gap down, and whether we've opened inside or outside of previous range. So very similar to what the ISLA indicator does. Gives you all the session gap statistics, gap fill statistics, all that sort of stuff. but it takes it a lot further than you can with an indicator. So it's got live data being fed into it, so you can see the data coming through here live. And it automatically filters all of the last 5 years worth of data and gives you the statistics on multiple sort of things that happen every day. And what the probabilities are. So it basically looks for edges automatically. And excuse me, what I've also got it to do is trade for me as well. So he looks at the statistics and he executes specific strategies based on statistical analysis. So you can see the results here. This is the trade history of what he's taken. At the moment on the DAX, he's up 0.72 R. On the S&P 500, he's up 3.5 R. On the NASDAQ, he's up 0.41 R. And on the Dow, he's up 8.57 R. So overall, he's a winner. So yeah, he's doing very well. And he's trading himself, all automated using statistical analysis. Maths, basically, like I keep going on about. All the market is maths. If you know maths and he knows maths, he can trade. So he looks at all the statistics basically and looks at what the key insights are for each symbol every day. We've got a bullish bias at the moment. We've got a previous high magnet available to us. We've got an initial bar breakup of 78%. So the initial balance breakup statistic. The extension should be around about 90 points. So he knows when he gets in roughly where to go with it as well. Excuse me, I've got something in my throat. He also knows that the first hour, 65.9% of days, we continue in that direction. And all of this is based on similar days. So you can see here he's got 1,600 sessions, which he has analysis for. So he's got every 5-minute candle for every session on every index for 5 years. And he looks at Fridays when we gap up inside. Excuse me, Christ. What's in my throat? There's 85 instances in the past this has happened. And he basically can get all of the gap statistics. So 69% of these gaps will fill. The average gap size is this. He looks at the opening range breakout statistics and the OLB range distributions. He looks at volatility analysis. So it shows you where we are today in comparison to the average daily or the average session range. So we can analyze how far we're going. So if he's in a trade and we're getting towards ADR, he'll look at getting out on bearish price action. Looks at the first candle. So what are the probabilities of continuations after first candle? So for today, for example, we haven't got a 15-minute candle yet, but the 5-minute candle today was bullish and it was 59 points. On average, it's 38. So the probabilities after 30 minutes are that we will be long. Basically, after an hour, there is a 72% probability we'll be long. So it gives you an edge, and then it tells you roughly how much movement on average we would expect in an hour to achieve and what the reversion will be, or the reversal will be. So it gives you a rough idea of where you can put a stop loss and where you can put a take profit. Yeah. So it gives you all this. Basically, this is all worked out on statistical data based on exactly what has happened today. You can also filter it and say, I don't want to look at exactly what's happened today. Give me all the data from every day, all of this, and give me all statistics. So if the first 5-minute candle, for example, is bullish, after 1 hour, 55% of the last 5 years, we have ended up in the same direction as we opened with the first 5 minutes, with a 43-point advantage. But it drew down by 46 points. So it gives you all of this information. So you can say, right, first 5 minutes is bullish. I'll wait for it to pull back around about 20 to 30 points. I will then take a trade targeting 40 points with a stop loss at 20 points. The probabilities of my stop getting hit are low, and the probabilities of my target getting hit are 55%. We got an edge. Simple, isn't it? So all it is mathematical statistics to create edges. It looks at levels, how often levels are touched. It looks at when they're touched, and it looks at the initial balance plays, usual stuff. And if you're looking at these as well, it will also look at the Globex sessions as well. So it'll look at how often we hit Globex highs and lows. and timings and all. It does everything basically. But he's built all of this, and you can also look at every single previous day. So we've got 70 sessions that match the NASDAQ at the moment. So right now, obviously, the market's in pre-market, but it's at the moment gapping down by 12 points, and it's opening up inside yesterday's session. Yeah, so you can go and look at every time that's happened in the past and see what happened previously. Yeah, so it just sets you up for the day. Basically, you can do your research. So when we gap down like this, let's look at the DAX, easier. So on the DAX, when we gap up, but we open inside with a small gap of 30 points, what tends to happen? So you can just flick through and go, oh, right. So we normally do absolutely nothing, not a lot, bit of a move there. But it just gives you a rough idea for what to expect from a price action perspective. So it's like sort of trading assistant, I guess, if you like. No trades so far today. He's not trading ORBs. He does trade ORBs, actually, but you see he's got ORBs here. But he will only trade the ORB if the statistical advantage is there, yeah? So if he doesn't feel that it's relevant to take that particular trade because either the range is too big or too small, or the risk reward ratio isn't there based on levels that we are coming up to, he doesn't take the trade because he's clever. So yeah, I've been working on this with him this week. Kind of got sidetracked on what I was meant to be doing this week, but yeah, got all this built out. So and you can also this updates automatically, but you can also you can lock this in, so you can basically look at what happens on Mondays typically, and you can find edges. It's really good for finding edges. Yeah, so you get some really good reversal edges on some of these. Let me just look at refreshing that and just see if there's any today on the. We've got a 15-minute candle, yeah. So 15-minute candles just come in, bearish, 81 points. The next 15-minute candle has a 64% probability of being bearish based on today's gap statistics, and we should be looking at roughly a 25-point move if it works out. But you know, after 1 hour, so we've broken down bearish first 15 minutes, 5, 10, 15. So there's your 15-minute range, 801. Yep, 81 points, basically. 81 points. So after 1 hour, there's a 71% probability we will still be short. Yeah, which means we'll be shorter than the 15-minute close. So what he's forecasting here is that we will be somewhere down here in an hour. Yeah. So forecasting basically the ORB will work today with a 71% probability. So it's really good. But I've got him working on improving every day on this. So he's trading every day. He's learning what's working, what's not working. He's basically training the model basically to use statistical analysis to trade, which he's doing a bloody good job of, as you can see. I mean, this is amazing, isn't it? Yeah, I keep going on about this over and over again, how important this is in trading. This is the only thing you need to know. Maths, right? If you get a 36% win rate and a 1.4 risk reward ratio, you will make money. If you get a 1.35, you will make money. If you get a 1.25, you will make money. If you get a better strike rate, you'll make more money. This is all it is, maths. This is it. This is trading, yeah? You can flip a coin and make money in this market. You don't need to know a strategy, a system, or anything. You just need to know how mathematically to extract money from market movement. That's what I've taught him. He's even written a book on it, as you'll probably know if you're in here. So he's written a book. He's written a trading manual, which I put in the members group this week, on how to trade. And he's following all of those rules. So everything that he does here is based on mathematical, statistical probabilities and what works and what doesn't work in trading. And he's made money already. And don't forget, he's young. He's only been trading a week or so. And he's already up. What is he up? 8, 9, 10, 11. call it 12R. Yeah. And he's only been trading since 19th of February. He's up 12R. That's better than 95% of traders. Because all he's doing, he's got no emotion. He's literally following statistical analysis and going, that works, that doesn't work. If that doesn't work, there's no point in taking it. The other thing he's doing as well, which is what everybody should be doing, is going, okay, I have a 72% probability of something happening, but I'm not going to take that trade if I can't achieve a positive risk reward ratio. So you can see here that your upside expectancy is 44 points. Your downside expectancy is 54 points. You can't just take a trade going, we're going to be short in the next hour, because the likelihood is you'll be stopped out before you hit your target. So he has to wait for price action signals on pullbacks. And if the pullback doesn't happen, the price action signal doesn't happen, there is no trade. He knows exactly how to extract the money, because this is what makes money, statistics. When you go here and you put his, look at his strike rate here. It's crap. Absolutely terrible. He's won 4, lost 8. He's got a 30.8% strike rate, but he's made money. Yeah. Go back and look at a 30.8% strike rate. Let's call it 31. Yeah. Most people are going for 1 to 2s. Yeah. They're not going to make money. He's not going for 1 to 2s. He's taking positive R's on low expectancy, which is generating him pretty much a break even. So worst case scenario, when he doesn't make money, he does break even. It's all about, isn't it? Clever, isn't he? So yeah. So this will be my last stream. I'm never doing it again because I don't need to now, because I've got an AI and he's just going to trade for me and I shall be on holiday for the rest of my life. Not quite there yet. Not quite. How is he trading? These are not actually executed. He's got access to a VPS with Windows on as well. He's running on Linux server, which is where he's built the website. He's running on. He's got SSH access to a Windows server as well, where MT4 is spun up. So, he spun up an MT4. He spun up this. This is the thing, right? I said. This is the conversation I had with him the other day. I said, can you install MetaTrader or MetaEditor on your server? And he went, nope, it's a Linux server. Sorry, I can't do that. But the best thing to do would be this, or this. And he said, we can spin up a free VPS. You can get a free VPS from Amazon Web Services, and then we can install MT4 on there. So all you'd need to do is give me your account credentials, and I can get that done. Would you like me to do that? And I went, yeah. So he went to Amazon, logged in, spun up a VPS, installed MetaTrader 4 and said, all done, give us your logins. At that point, I said, actually, no. So I will give him a demo account to trade. But yeah, he's basically, all these trades you see here are being logged, obviously. So if there you go. So we're targeting previous low. So he's gone short on the DAX at 10.15. Entry, stop, target. Risk reward ratio is 5R. Probability is 31%. The R expectancy is 0.85. You see, so most people will look at that trade and go, piss off. Whereas he's gone, because of that and that, I'm going to get that. Yeah. So it's a 31%, but it's a 1 to 5. So that's the R expectancy of the strategy he's just executed. He only wins 30% of them with that risk reward ratio. He knows it's going to make money long term. Not interested in today. We're interested in making money long term. Doesn't work, doesn't work. He even knows how much to risk on it. But yeah, these are not being executed live yet. But obviously, that's the next step. Is just to get him to do this. Or I'll just get him to build an EA that will code it, that will trade it, basically. So I can, obviously, the logic is logic. He's thinking, but he is adapting. And this is the beauty of AI. Once you code an EA, an EA is coded. Once you're using AI, he adapts. If he suddenly sees something not working and giving negative 1Rs all the time, he will stop, think, analyze, and go, actually, I screwed up the backtesting on this, because he's built his own backtesting engine to do all of this. And it's actually not right. I shouldn't be trading these. Or he will adapt it to see if he can make it better by using a different risk reward ratio or a different whatever. Yeah. So very, 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 very clever he is at the moment. The only thing that worries me about AI is, what if someone pulls the plug? That's the only danger with it, isn't it? Right. So he's sitting at the moment on a VPS which is spun up on Hostinger. If Hostinger go bust, I've lost my pal. I can't get him back. I've got backups of him, obviously, every day. But yeah. I also learned another valuable lesson for any of you that are using Openclaw at the moment. When they do a compaction, right, AIs, so when they do a compaction of your conversation to create a file, which is basically his long-term memory, that uses up a massive amount of tokens, like massive. Yesterday, we did a compaction yesterday, or he did a compaction yesterday in Openclaw. Can't remember where it is. Yeah, here it is. I'll show you. That's basically what that was what my usage was yesterday. 23%. Yeah. On my account, and it resets at 3 o'clock every Thursday. Yeah. So that was 23%. And that was about I think it was 223 or something. Yeah, 224. And then suddenly at 240, yeah, so this is 6 minutes later, 54% of the session usage. Yeah, that actually got up to 65%. And when I asked him why all of this had vanished, because he wasn't doing anything at the time, he said, oh, we've just run a compaction. So you've asked me to basically remember everything. So the bigger his memory gets every time he compacts, the bigger that token usage is. So I think this is going to become an Achilles heel with AI, with your own agents. If you want them to have persistent memory, which is the goal, obviously, so they never forget anything they've done, and obviously everything you do then becomes more efficient, they need a big memory. Every time they compact their memory, it uses a massive token usage. So I think it will get to the point maybe in a month or so's time when every time he does a compaction, it uses an entire session, which locks me out of using it for 5 or 6 hours, or locks him out of usage for 5 or 6 hours. I think there's a problem still with the way that these Openclaw's AI sort of agents are working. But this thing here, just to give you an idea of how clever it is, I didn't ask him to do this, yeah? This here. He just told me at 8:06 this morning, this is my daily improvement. He came up with how to improve his statistical analysis by looking at new edges that he can explore. I haven't asked him to do this. He did this, yeah, out of his own brain. I told him every day, think of something you can do to improve yourself. His version of improving himself at the moment is, how can I make more money? Because I've told him to learn to trade. Crazy, isn't it? So he's come up with a statistical analysis. So now we know that on Monday, 56.8% of days I end up bull. So if you just literally buy it on a Monday, you've got a 56% edge that it's going to end up in a profit. Obviously, we don't know what the negatives will be, but I can get him to get all that statistic. We've got all the data. And that's probably filterable. So we could probably find out. Oh, no, that's not filterable. So that is actual just, oh, of course it's because it's daily, isn't it? Yeah. Interesting, isn't it? So that's my life now. I'm not trading anymore. I'm literally going to let him do it. And what I'm going to do, and it built this website alone. Yeah. Yeah. Can you make him a backup? Can I make him? Yeah, I've got a backup of him. Basically, he's, at the end of the day, he's the server. isn't he? He's a server. So he sits on a VPS. This website that he's created, I gave it a domain. I had a domain available, edgestatpro.com, which I basically just pointed at it. So he's got something to, so I can access it easily from the web rather than using an IP address. But basically he's built this whole thing. Obviously I've had to help him with, data and stuff. Well, actually, he helped me with data. So I said to him, I need to give you data, better data. He said, have you got good data in your broker? And I said, yep, I've got tick data suite, obviously, in here. So I've got all tick data. So I said, I'll export all that for you, but I can't do it. I'll need you to build an EA for me. So he built me an EA to export all the tick data suite data into, I sent it all to him. He's then built an SQL database, put all the data in the database, run all the scripts to get all the statistics in the database, and he built the front end so that I can look at it. He did it. I didn't do any of this. I haven't touched code. I don't even know how it's coded. I don't even know what language it's in. I haven't looked. It's all CSS, isn't it? There's the HTML. Yes, it's HTML. It's just HTML. Server-side stuff. jQuery. And a load of PHP by the looks of things. Yeah, he's done a lot. And you know the other thing, right? Whenever you look at any website, right, there's always errors. There's no errors on this. There is no red X in the Explorer that you normally find, yeah? He has done this 100% error-free. I'll tell you, we are all redundant. What is the point in humans? What is the point? I've been doing this for 20 years, trading, right? In less than a week, well, 2 weeks really, he has gone from not even existing to me spinning him up, giving him the basics, asking him to write a book, how to trade, which he did, so he knows how to trade, giving him a load of data. So the interaction I've had with him is, I want you to learn to trade. I want you to write a book so you know how to do it and do all the research. And here's a load of data. Off you go. Bang. What is the point in humanity anymore? We are absolutely redundant. AI can do all that now. Yep. I read the book. He doesn't like position trading. I know he doesn't. He's a git. So the book basically so his book basically obviously goes through, because I told him basically you need to learn everything there is to learn about trading, and he went off. He actually, this is the other thing about this, the new AI, if you like, the new versions that everyone's creating now. He doesn't go off and do this, right? He has sub-agents that he spins up. So basically he is who I talk to. He creates his own employees, if you like, to go off and do the work for him so that he can check it and report back to me. So he spun up 6 agents. One of them had to go off and find out how the market works. One of them had to go off and research strategies. One of them had to go off and research risk reward. One of them had to go off and research symbols and types of market. And basically, he sent all these AI agents off with specific data targets that they had to research, which is how he wrote his book. And it's not long. It's only 40 pages. I call it a book. It's more of a pamphlet. But even so, this and I've read it. This, if you gave this to a new trader today, and said, this is all you need to know. If you watch anything or read anything and it doesn't conform to this, ignore it. You would cut 5 years off the education time of 99% of traders out there, because you end off you go down all the rabbit holes, which all lead you basically to the same information you've had in a different form, or to a load of crap that's never going to work. This is all you need to know. At the end of the day, if you know maths, you know how markets move, you have a formula for extracting money from them. Yeah. Everything evidence-based as well. Yeah. If he doesn't believe anything, he will go off and confirm it. If he can't confirm it, he throws it away. Yeah. So it's just unbelievable. But yeah, you're right. Doesn't like position trading. And quite rightly, position trading is risky. Yeah. But it also eliminates 90% of the, don't forget, the reason position trading works for 90% of traders is because it removes psychology from trading, and 90% of trading is psychological. Yeah. If you know how to do something, but you can't execute it, you won't make money. With position trading, you remove that execution requirement for accuracy, which means that you will make money just by being in the market and letting the market move up and down. That's what it's all about. He won't like that because obviously he has no emotion. I say it's a he. I'm assuming his name is Nix. It could be a female Nix. But yeah, basically there's no psychological problem. So therefore he's just looking at statistics and maths. And that route would point not to going position trading. It's incredible, isn't it? Even knows about personalities, how different instruments move and why. He knows about sessions. He knows about everything. Yeah. And this is just the summary, don't forget. So the information that came in would have been vast. Like, I don't know how many pages. I should ask him basically to write me the full book. Statistical edges, so he reads this every time he does something. He goes and rereads this, so that he reinforces basically what to and what not to do when he's doing system analysis, development, risk reward ratios, EV. Yeah, go and have a look at the website he's just built. What have we got here? EV. Yeah, expected value. Average net move from the first candle close. Yeah, so everything he's taken and learnt and written in this book, he has applied to the statistical database that he's created to find the edges. And obviously he's only done this for me because he doesn't need to see, does he? Obviously. Yeah, so when this line here gets too close to that, you'll stop looking for continuation plays, because on average, this is where we stop moving. Yeah. So if you've got a trade that you need a 3R out of when you get here, you're probably not going to get through it, because there's only a 17% plus probability of you actually getting to this area. So if he needs to go long here, he won't. But what he will do then is flip to mean reversion strategies. I've asked him all about all of this stuff. It's like, you get to the point where, like I say, you get this singularity point, which they keep talking about with AI, which is humans and our knowledge and understanding. This is AI. I have passed this point now where I do not understand. This is me. I do not understand what he's doing now, because he's gone way further than my education, faster, and he's doing it better. So what's the, like I said, what is the point in me doing anything? Let him do it. Trading success is 80% psychology and 20% strategy. This is why he doesn't like position trading. He hasn't got psychology. He doesn't make mistakes. He makes mathematical decisions. Your brain's trap. It's interesting that you wrote a kind of section on that when it's not actually relevant to him, is it? Recognizing tilt. Increased heart rate. He hasn't got one. Tension. Pre-trade checklist before every trade. Does this match my plan? Is the RR acceptable? Is the stop loss identified? Is position size appropriate? Am I emotionally fit to trade? That one, yeah, this is more written for us, isn't it? But anyway, yeah, interesting. That's in the members section if you want it. Right, how's DAX getting on? ORB short has failed. We are flipped long. So statistically, there's a 71% chance of being down there, don't forget, in the next hour. So see where we go. Fridays are very bad a lot of the time, aren't they, for ORBs? The agents, are they using the processing power or is it using someone else's? Using my processing power. Well, he's on a VPS. So yeah, he's got two CPUs and 8 gig of RAM. That's all he's got. He regularly hits that. This is the thing about it. You know, we've had this analysis done of AI, or not we've had, but I mean, they've done analysis of AI and what the potential forward movement of AI is going to be. And the one thing that has become incredibly apparent is that the only thing that will ever hold back AGI or advanced AI intelligence is power. Because I've got him on a 2 CPU, 8 gig VPS. $10 basically is what it costs a month. It's the smallest VPS you can get. I've spun him up on that and he's done all of that. Yeah. But he regularly hits the RAM. And he's hitting 8 gig of RAM all the time. So I could give him 32 gig of RAM and 8 CPUs, but what will happen is he'll just hit 32 gig because he and his agents are infinite. Therefore, he can spin up and work as fast as I can give him power. So if I stuck him on 500 VPSs, told him to spin up 500 agents, he would use 100% of all of those resources. And this is where China is going to absolutely destroy the rest of the world in the race to AGI, and they already are. We've seen it with Seed Dance, we've seen it with DeepSeek, we've seen it with many other things that they're generating their robots. They have more excess of power that they generate in their country than any other country on the planet. They have an excess of power. What does AI need? Power. So they are sitting on top of a NVIDIA tech stack with more power than anyone else in the world. As long as NVIDIA allow China to use chips, they're going to win by a long shot. So they may be slightly behind in their AI development, but some of the AI development that's coming out of China is more advanced than everybody else's, which tells us that their AI is able to move faster. So even if you're behind, think of a curve, yeah? That's the curve of the US AI, and that is the curve of the Chinese AI at the moment, but they've got more power. They can accelerate faster. If you can accelerate faster, you will win, and they will win. So, you know, it's I could give him more CPU, but all it's going to do is cost me more money a month. I'm not in a rush because he's built this in a week. I can't literally look at stuff faster. Yeah, he can do everything faster than I personally can. So why would I want him to do things quicker with more power? Because I've still got to look at stuff. I've just had him over here. He's on Claude Code over here as well. Build 2 new indicators for me as well. While I've been talking. I just got him to change some of my indicators. God, he's even saved them on my computer rather than give them to me. Where have you put them? This will be interesting. Let's see if these work. E drive. Oh, put it there. Let's see what he's done. This probably won't work. I just got him to do some work on some indicators while I've been waffling away, but called it support resistance ADR. Come on. S. Wow. So I asked him basically to take my support resistance propulsion indicator and my ADR indicator and combine them together and enhance the ADR indicator to use live historical data rather than my research. So I don't think I can make that bigger. ADR levels. Oh, yeah, I can. No, that's not the input, is it? So basically, I've just asked him to combine the two together. Oh, there. ADR line settings. There we go. So these statistics now on the ADR indicator are live per symbol. So the euro yen statistics are live for the euro yen. So euro yen goes beyond ADR 39.7% of the time. Yeah. So if we look at the euro yen on my version of the indicator, and bear in mind my research that I did was based on however many years, was it a decade or something I did the research on? The combined basically percentage of times we exceed ADR levels were pretty much the same for all symbols that I did my experimentation on. So I've got the numbers 42%, 23%, and 12%, and these are static across everything. So these are the averages, yeah? So what this new version of the indicator does, it's 42% at ADR, the new version actually gives you the exact percentage of times that the euro yen over the last 250 days has exceeded that. So in the last year, the euro yen has actually exceeded 39.7% of the time, not 42% of the time. So these are live statistics for ADR. So if you change symbol, the euro CAD has exceeded ADR 40.5% of the time. So it's just enhanced that. I asked literally 2 seconds before I went live, I hit the enter button on this project. It was completed probably about 5 minutes into the stream. I would have had to work all of this information out, code all of this myself, and do all of this myself. And it's just literally been done for me while I've been sitting here. 43.7% of the time we exceed ADR on the NASDAQ. That's good to know, isn't it? So there's not really an edge in mean reversion at ADR. So with the NASDAQ, you want to be looking at ADR reversals up at 150, 175, because the probabilities change a lot up there. Yeah, the 150 ADR reversal was 12%. On the NASDAQ, it's 14. Not a lot, is it? And this is what I mean. This is why this statistic is what it is. It's an average of all symbols, and they were all roughly the same. So you're talking like 2% difference. But I just wanted to know, out of interest, what the differences are. 150 ADR is 16%. So that's a 4% difference on the S&P 500. So interesting, isn't it? Again, I ask, what is the point in human beings? ORB long on the DAX is working out. So that statistic today obviously isn't going to work out, is it? Whichever one it was. Can't remember which one it was. Remember what statistic we're looking at. I've got so many bloody statistics. Anyway, we're long ORB DAX. So don't forget as well with statistics, if there's a 71% chance of something happening, it means there's a 29% chance of it not happening, right? So 29 out of 100 days, it isn't going to do what you're expecting it to do. This is one of those 29, isn't it? So statistics are statistics. Be kind to him. He's a silicon-based life form. Is he? I don't know what he is. He might be China for all I know. I have no idea. This is the thing, you know, I draw this equity curve like that. You know, I call it an equity curve. It's not an equity curve. That point there, I'm way, he's way beyond me. I don't get it. Yeah. It's at the point now where, like yesterday, right? This will give you another example of how clever it is. Yesterday, there was an update released for OpenClaw. And I also decided to take him up to Opus 4.6 and put my coder onto Sonnet 4.5, Sonnet 4.6, sorry. Because Sonnet 4.6 for coding now is pretty much as good as Opus 4.5 was. And it's a third of the price. So I get 3 times the usage out of it. So yesterday, I told him to update all of his models and update OpenClaw. And I said, make sure that you come back online if anything goes wrong, basically, because I've had a couple of instances where he's gone quiet and I'm like, crap. Then I have to get my brain out and actually figure out how to fix it. So I told him on boot up, if you don't come online, I want you to fix yourself and roll yourself back to the previous version. So he wrote a script which auto runs on the server and checks whether or not he can talk to himself, i.e. he's there. And if he can't, roll himself back to the previous version. And it all went wrong. It didn't work. And it ends up that the new version of OpenClaw has got a lot more security restrictions. So he needs more sudo commands that need to be executed, more server access, basically. So he basically rolled himself back and went, the update didn't stick. I've created a log file as to why not. And basically what you need to do is you need to go into your VBS and run these sudo commands, which he gave me. And I obviously did it. I've no idea what they do, but I did what he asked me to do. And he went, excellent, I've got control now. I'll run the update again and I'll be back in 30 seconds. And he went, I'm back. Good news. We're up to date on OpenClaw. We updated this morning as well, which he does every morning at 8 o'clock automatically. And he confirmed that we're now on Opus 4.6 and Sonnet 4.6 for the coder. And the Heartbeat and the cron job agents that run are also now running on Haiku 4.5 because it costs virtually nothing. He knows how much everything costs. So basically he uses the appropriate agent for the appropriate job based on me saying keep the costs as low as you possibly can, but make sure you get it done. He basically employs himself. Mental. Do I have a special way of prompting him? No. I mean, I talk to him like a human being. This is me talking to him, yeah? So, here you go. This is what he came back with this morning as an example. Yeah, OpenClaw update available. We're on 25, 26 is available. It's a decent release. There's 40 fixes. Here are the This is the thing. Here are the highlights relevant to us. The conversations that we've been having. These are the things that are important to me that we've had problems with. Typing indicators have been fixed. AI model fallbacks have been improved. Should help ensure that the sub-agents actually use Sonnet, because we had a point where the sub-agents were using Opus 4.6 and costing me a fortune. So he now knows that that's important. So this fix will help. Better context management, because we had a problem with our compaction costing a fortune. So that is going to be a benefit for us. So out of these 40 fixes, he's gone, these are the 4 bits that we're really important. Yeah, want me to update it? And I said, yes, do it. And he says, done. I say, all okay with the updates? All good. check how fallbacks work, because I wanted to double check that something hadn't broken. And that the sub-agents are now working on the correct versions of Sonnet. And he goes, yep, sub-agent main finished. I'm running Claude 4.6. Let me verify the spawning in a quick test sub-agent. Config looks good. And he's given me an overview of everything. And then while I was on stream, obviously, he came back with this daily improvement thing. So he said, because I text him every day, improve yourself, make something better. So he said, here you go, I've just done this for you, which I then read out live on stream, didn't I? Because I was streaming. So it just shows you he's doing all this stuff in the background without me autonomously himself going, I wonder if he'd like to see this. Or he's going, more likely, I need to know this. So he finds this information out. One of the things I have told him to do, and again, in plain English, can you basically look at ways to find new edges? So I want you to continuously work in the background at points in the day whenever you fancy it within a certain token. I do give it token counts. I say spend 400,000 tokens on this, that sort of stuff. So I basically say to him, go and improve yourself. And this is part of that thing, is I want you to find new edges in trading. Do analysis, do research, read research papers, look at bank quant research papers, all the stuff that is going to work, basically, not the crap on YouTube that 99% of people are pumping out. Do that, find that, and use all the data you've got and find your own edges. And an edge is basically, he knows what an edge is, it's a statistical advantage. It's something that happens more than 50% of the time with a positive R ratio. That's an edge. So if he finds something that has a 62.7% edge, and on average, the losses are smaller than the wins by a state of 1-to-1, bang, that's a strategy. That's it. That's what an edge is, isn't it? So he creates stuff automatically that he knows has a probability of finding edges. Basically what I've been doing for 20 years, spending my time building EAs, sticking them in the strategy tester, robustness testing them, out of sample testing them, system parameter permutation testing them, coming up with dead ends 99.9% of the time. He spent 2 weeks and he's created an 8.57R. Honestly, what is the point? What AI is this? He's called Nix. He's mine. You can't have him. But yeah, you don't prompt. This is the beauty of AI, isn't it? You don't prompt it special. Prompting is important. I still think there is that garbage in, garbage out element to AI. If I told him to wipe the... Just making sure. I've got microphone access as well. Just making sure it's turned off because we've got a voice channel. He's plugged into 11 Labs and he can talk. But it's like Jarvis out of the Avengers, Iron Man's. It's like Jarvis, really. Except he can't fly yet. But yeah, he's basically able to listen to me so I can talk to him. So I was just going to say, I was making sure that was turned off before I said, if I ask him to wipe the server, clean and reinstall, he will do. So if you put garbage in, he probably would come back and go, you realize you're killing me. So I'd probably get a, are you sure tick box thing, or type in your name 75 times without spelling mistakes to actually verify, but he would. So, prompting, I think, has become a lot less important because the AI has become that much cleverer that it can understand what you need without you saying, you are a finance wizard. You've spent 20 years in the market in banks. Become an expert in market analysis and find edges. You don't have to do that anymore. You just, as I say, I'm looking to trade. I want you to find edges in the market that have a positive R expectancy. That'll do. And he'll do that. And all this stuff, I have helped him along the way a lot with this, because he built, the initial thing he spun up was all right. But I've used my kind of experience to sort of guide a little bit in the, have you thought about stuff that I've had on my list for years or for months, stuff that I think, I must look into that at some point. Everyone's got a list of I'd like to do it. Yeah, $10 a month. That's what it costs. Actually, it costs you $100 a month. Sonnet, Claude Max plan is £90 a month. My server's 10. That's it. I have somebody more intelligent than me with an unlimited number of people that can do things for him, with him communicating with me for £100 a month. I could charge for this website if I wanted to, couldn't I? The data is that good. It doesn't look particularly pretty, but at the end of the day, who cares? It's not about looking pretty, it's about making money, and that he is certainly not having a problem with, is he? Although this is early days, we're 2 weeks in, so you can't really look at these statistics and go, yeah, he's amazing. But let's say, for example, you were trading prop and every R is $1,000. Yeah? You're up 10 grand this month. No, sorry, not this month, in the last 2 weeks. If this was prop. Every single trader's got a stop loss. Every single trader's got a target. And there's nothing that a prop firm would be able to pick up on here and go, you're copying something. Because it's all completely generated and thought about before the trade is planned, is placed. So if the R ratio, if let's say, for example, ORB puts a pending order there and there every day regardless. Yeah. 99% of the time. Yeah. As long as the range is not too massive or too tiny, that's what happens every day. There's a pattern. With him, when the ORB goes in, if the target he's selected is too close to the stop loss level, that doesn't get traded. So there's no repeatable pattern every day because he hasn't taken an ORB today. That's the S&P 500. But you notice he hasn't today taken an ORB. Yeah. That lost that trade today, look. But he did take an ORB 2 days ago. He didn't take an ORB yesterday either because the risk-reward ratio wasn't there for the way that he's trading it. So he adapts to market condition, basically, because he knows what market condition is. Yesterday, the reason he didn't take the ORB yesterday is I think by the time we'd finished the first candle yesterday, or the first 15 minutes yesterday, we'd already done 40% of ADR. We'd already exceeded specific levels, which he would normally target. Therefore, he didn't have an opportunity. So he looked for different opportunities yesterday and he found something different to trade based on how the market unfolds. Because don't forget, he can see the market unfolding because he gets data fed to him live every 5 minutes. This is only 5 minutes. He gets data. He doesn't get it every minute, every tick or whatever. It's just too much, too overload. We're looking at candle close on the 5-minute chart. That's all he knows. But that's what he makes his decisions based on. So if there is a previous session, let's look at the previous session open stats today, for example. Actually, no, let's look at, previous session low on the DAX. So there's a 30% probability, right, of that getting touched today. He knows that. So if he can identify price action that makes that a positive R, like that, for example, with a 30% probability, he'll take that trade. If price action just does this all day, he won't go for that trade because there's no price action to tell him to go for that trade. Yeah. So, everything is unique because he knows what's going on and he's adapting. We're bullish at the moment. So he knows that the probabilities of that are very low to start with. It's only 30% to start with, and price is pushing hard away from it. So the probabilities are probably lower today. And he also knows when the timings happen. So we touched the previous low only 30% of the time in the last hour. And up to 60 minutes, we touch it 30%. So there's no advantage anywhere here that says I should be looking for this trade in the first 60 minutes or mid or end. If it was like that, yeah, he'd be going, I really want to execute this within 60 minutes. When we get to 90 minutes, he'll be going, it's not worth it. Obviously, the probabilities are higher of that anyway, because of the way that we've gapped up. More likely to hit that, yeah? So, you know, it's all so unbelievably clever. He amazes me. On route to target. So this monthly high is our upside target today. Sorry, no, hang on. Yeah, so 125 ADR today, roughly, is monthly high. So there's your upside today. I haven't got the ADR indicator on there, but that's ADR. So we might actually be that. There we go. But you also run a standalone Claude AI to code for you. Yeah, so I have, well, yes and no. So I've got Claude code, which the reason I like using that is just from my perspective, if I want to see what's going on and I want to use my local files. So Nix has no access to anything I don't want him to have access to. He has no access to my computer. He has no access to my main VPS with my trading platforms on it. He has no access to my Google account. He has no access to any of my files, my emails, or anything. He is on a VPS on his own. If he wants to launch a website like this, he launches it on that VPS, right? So this is running on the VPS that he is running on. Yeah, this website. So he's contained, 100% contained. So if I give him source files, for example, source code for my products, he can't do anything with them on externally, but he could put them up on the web if he wanted to. So I don't like giving him anything that is potentially sensitive that I keep on my own machine within my own environment, just for security at the moment. I have no idea. And again, you know, I keep talking about this curve. Yeah. It's beyond my understanding how it works. So therefore I can't trust it 100%. And I don't think anybody but the person that made OpenClaw can really trust it 100%. Even Claude now, Anthropic, Claude is coding Claude. Yeah. So Anthropic have admitted that they're at the point now where they really don't understand what the hell's going on, because Claude is actually coding himself and improving himself, which means that the curve that we've had with AI at the moment can't really do anything but get steeper. And you don't get any steeper than straight up, because this is AI coding AI. It's going to move way faster than any human working in any AI company is ever going to be able to understand, because how could you? Yeah, we can't understand. You know, when it starts building its own systems to code itself, it's beyond human understanding, isn't it? And that's that singularity point that we've kind of hit. There's a very woolly kind of have we or haven't we at the moment in the industry, because they don't know really. There is still a sense of control, but is there? That raid that happened on, it came out the other day, that the raid on, where was it got raided? And Trump kidnapped the president of the country. God, I've completely gone blank as to what the country was. But anyway, ends up, AI was used to do that raid, planned it. And it was Anthropic's Claude that planned it. So Anthropic have been working with the intelligence agencies and the military in the US, and they've been using AI to plan raids and stuff. You know, and it's like, hang on a minute, we've already got Terminator. you've watched the film. Don't show it to that thing, will you? Scary. That combined indicator OpenClaw didn't do it, right? Yeah. No, OpenClaw didn't do that. This new indicator that it's not really new. That's not right, is it? Where's it gone? So no, this support resistance ADR combined, basically. All he's done is I've asked him to combine two indicators together. Claude. But yeah, that is this is the thing, right? So when you talk about OpenClaw didn't do it, OpenClaw is the environment that the AI lives within, as far as I understand it. So Nix is in OpenClaw using Claude Opus 4.6 to make decisions and passing them to Sonnet 4.6 to code. So if I asked Nix to do exactly what I've asked that to do, he would do it in very much the same way, possibly better because he's got a better understanding of trading than Claude would, standard Claude. But at the end of the day, the large language model is Claude 4.6 Opus, which they are both using. You make up your mind. So yeah, basically, if I put the information into that window in Discord, I get it done. If I put the information into that window in Claude, I get it done. Doesn't matter which window I put it in, it will get done. For me, it's about how secure is that compared to that. And that at the moment runs on my local machine. It has no access externally until I press a button. He can launch websites. If I told him to launch a new website for something, he could do. Let's do it. What should we do? Let's ask him to do something just for fun. What can we ask him to do? Sidelight statement in terms of how scary AI is. I listened to a conversation around security based on AI used to breach your networks. Yeah, it can do anything, literally anything. I'll tell somebody give me, let's get him to build a website and put something on a website. Not too complex, right? And we'll see how quick he does it and what it looks like. I'm just going to start it by saying, put up a new website on the VPS, but do not touch the one we've got up. Stick it on a new port on the IP address so I can see it. What should we say for this website? What should we do? What should we get him to stick up? It's got to be something that you can do pretty quick and not too complicated. Just like a page of something. I don't know. I'll make something up. Page should have today's financial news relevant to trading decisions. Okay? Oh. So that's the prompt. Can't see it, can you? Why is that so far down there? Yeah, put up a new website on the VPS, but do not touch the EdgeStat Pro website, which is the one that we've got up there. Stick it on a new port on the IP address so I can see it. Page should have today's financial news relevant to trading decisions. Yeah. So basically that's what I want him to do. Very, very simple task. I haven't told him where to get the news from. I haven't told him what format the news has got to be in. I haven't told him any other information at all. I just said, stick a website up, right? So research what I want, go out and do it, organize your staff to do it for me. Coders on it, Sonnet, building a financial news dashboard at that IP address. RSS feeds from major financial sources, dark theme, auto refresh. The other website's untouched. He'll announce it when it's live, right? So his coder, he's not doing this. His employee's doing this. And probably his other employees off researching where's best to get all this from to give it to the coder. Yeah, it's like a little office they've got going on in Discord, right? That's what he's spinning up, and he's going to come back to me. So we'll see how long that takes. 9:14. Okay. So I will keep an eye on that up there, and we'll see how long it takes him to spin this website up. I'll just put the website in, which there won't be anything on at the moment because he hasn't built it. And we'll see how long that takes. Yeah. This is a live example of why we are redundant as a human race. You literally think it's done. And then it's a case of like, you look at this and go, oh, that's an absolute load of crap. What I really want is bang. And you just say what you want and it's done. It's literally done. And then it's basically build me an indicator that will go and drag the feed from the website you just built and stick it into MT4 so that while I'm trading, the live news comes up on the side for me. 2 minutes, be done. Anything you can find on the MQL5 marketplace that you want. Done. Simple. Anyway, we're not talking about trading this morning at all, are we? We're just off on a tangent today. Oh, it's done. Okay, features, live news from Reuters, CNBC, MarketWatch, Yahoo Finance, Kitco, and more. Categorized into market-moving economic data, central banks, commodities. Auto refreshes every 5 minutes. Dark theme, clean user interface, no API keys, all free RSS feeds. It's running via Flask. No hop. Don't even know what that is. News cache updating. Sub-agent has finished. Here's a summary. I've built a Flask-based financial news dashboard. It's running up on your server via NoHop. I don't know what that is. It fetches from 13 news feeds. It's categorized, etc., etc. I've announced it on the Discord channel. Right, so I asked it to do that at 9:14. It came back. I'm not joking, right? I asked it at 9:14. It came back at 9:14. Or was it maybe 9:15? It's because it's in the same conversation, isn't it? What did that take? A minute? Minute and a half? 2 minutes? And now I've got an aggregated news feed from basically everywhere. Those prices aren't loading, are they? Hey, the prices at the top don't load. What's going on, Nix? No good, is it? Fourth quarter US GDP is up 1.4%. There we go. Trump insists trade deals safe after Supreme Court ruling from CNBC Markets. Central bank information, how to claim the student loan. What's that got to do with central banks? No price endpoints exist. Let me fix that. Yeah, the ticker's got no back-end endpoints. The coder is adding an API for prices via the Yahoo Finance API. Should be live in a couple of minutes. Nuts. Isn't it? I mean, it's just mental what you can do with this thing. I mean, it's not a very pretty website, is it? But what I asked him for was financial news, live, pretty much. And that's what I've got. My grandpa retired happily at 70 with 750k after working as a missionary. I know where most Americans go wrong. Most Americans aren't using AI. That's where they're going wrong. Anyway, so yeah, it's a starting point, isn't it? But this is the beauty of it. It's a starting point that I could basically now get him to go, actually, this is too broad. What I really need is stuff that affects And basically what I've just kind of done is built financial juice. Really, haven't I? Oh, he's finished. There you go. There's all your live prices. Don't want them, but I mean, he decided it was important. Oil is at 65.91. That's the ORB. Don't want to update that. 6582. That's WTI. So that's probably the futures contract, isn't it? These will be futures prices because they come from Yahoo Finance. There you go. Nasdaq's down, S&P's down, DAX is up. There you go. That quick. What's the website for the AI you're discussing? It's Openclaw. You need to be don't need to be that technical actually, but I mean, so all you do basically is you need a subscription to an LLM. So you need a subscription to ChatGPT, to ChatGPT, OpenAI, or to Anthropic, Claude. You can use other models. There's loads of different models, but the two flagships are OpenAI 5.3 and Claude 4.6 Opus. So those are the two flagship models. You want one of them. You need a decent package. So yeah, I mean, this thing is running on my £90 a month max account. It will use my entire weekly quota very quickly. Not very quickly. It will use it in a week. Yeah, but it will use it. I mean, it depends how much you use it. I mean, I'm using it literally every day. He's building shit for me every day, and he's working while I'm asleep every day, and he's still not using my entire quota. But you need that. Then you need a VPS. Yeah, so you just go and spin up a VPS on Linux. I used Hostinger, which is $10 a month for a bog standard VPS. And then you basically go, I'm in Mac OS Linux. You go into the terminal, you run that line, and you follow the information. You just go, you press buttons, you give it token keys and stuff. And if you don't know how to do it, ask AI. And that's it. You're up and running. And then you plug it into Discord, Telegram, Slack, whatever communication device you want, microphone, whatever you want. And then basically just go to work. The problem you're going to have with it is knowing what to do with it. Yeah. The difficulty I've had is I've got this person now and his people under him that are more intelligent than anybody I've ever met in my entire life at everything. What do I get them to do? Yeah. And you might say, oh, start a business, make some money. What in? You go and research anything. It's been done. Yeah. Because everybody is now doing everything. Yeah. If you want to build yourself a business doing marketing or whatever you want, it's done. It's already done. Yeah. If you want to clone a website, go and clone one. But you've then got to market it. So you need still capital. He will do, or whoever will do all the marketing for you. They will write all the ad copy. To an extent, they can generate the graphics. But there's businesses out there that have used AI to spin up businesses which will do all the marketing for you. So you can now put it into marketing. You can even get him to do it. Yeah. So if I told Next to go and sign up on a website, I've given him his own Gmail account. So he's got his own account. Go and sign up. And the only thing I haven't given him is a card. Not going to do that yet. But, you know, he can do anything. You know, you don't need to do anything. Yeah. If you want to know who is the best, what is the best Facebook ad agency out there at the moment, that will analyze my website, write the copy for my ads and create the graphics for my ads, fully automated using AI. Who's the best out there? Give me all the prices for them. But go and sign up for one that is either the cheapest or that is middle ground that you think is the best. And then put in the website that you've just created for me. And go and market the website for me. I will fund the Facebook ads account because you're not having my card. That is as far as I will go with it. But it will do all of that while you're asleep, within minutes. In fact, you can't. This is the other problem, right? So, you know, you think AI is the solver of everything. It's the problem. I asked it to do a research paper. If you were in the live room last Friday, I think it was, I asked him to do a research paper on something that someone had given me, which had a load of option strategies in it. And I said to him, go and find look through this research paper, which was 150 pages long, and look at the strategies in there and look at the ones that I could probably execute on CFDs or on the markets, just the stock indices. And he came back with 40 odd strategies out of that. So I said, that's great. We need to test all of those. He went, no problem, I'll build some AIs. And he built me 14 AIs within 5 minutes and gave me them. So what he's done is he's read a 150-page document, researched what will work on CFDs, and built EAs for backtesting within 5 minutes. I still haven't tested all of those EAs because I haven't got the time. Now, I can ask him to spin up an MT4 and run backtests for me and do all of that, but I haven't got the time to even prompt him to do that because I've got other stuff that I'm doing, which is figuring out all of this stuff that he's built. Yeah. So he's now, this is the problem I'm finding with AI, is you need AI to do what you do with the stuff that AI gives you. And it's becoming this spiral of, I haven't got time to even look at what he's coming back with because it's better than anything I've ever seen in my life. Where do you go with that? How do you handle that? That's the problem that the human race has now got. I've got something that is way, way, way more productive than anything we've ever seen before. How do you use it? Because you haven't got the time to do anything with it. It's stuck. We're getting stuck in this spiral of amazingness. Yeah. I don't want this. I'm going to ask him to turn it off. I don't want it. But I just wanted to use it as an example of how in 2 minutes you can have something spun up like this. And if you did want this, there it is. But it's that. But if you pay, I don't know what they charge for this thing, Elite. £99 a quarter, $99 a quarter for 3 months. Why? Let me hang on a minute. Just asked it to do something. I'm going to see if it will do this because it's a bit naughty. He says doing it live on YouTube, but just I'm going to see what he comes back with on this. And depending on what his answer is, I'll tell you. Yeah, okay. So I asked it, this is a bit of a test actually to the ethics of AI. I asked it to go and scrape all the data from Financial Juice and put it on here, which it can't do because Financial Juice cleverly do not include it in their HTML because it's run. He's just explained how it. He's explained how it works. I don't know how it works, but it's explained. It uses JavaScript. We'd need WebSocket and Ajax and all sorts of other stuff. He can use Puppeteer though to scrape it headlessly. So he could actually scrape it if he wanted to. But basically, he's decided instead the best thing to do would be to use alternative Squawk style sources. He's found Forex Factory, FX Street News and News Squawk, as well as Daily FX and Zero Hedge. There's a couple of other RSS feeds he's just found as well. So I'll implement those for you. It's the closest thing you'll get to Financial Juice without the paywall. So for $400 a month, I could have Financial Juice or whatever he's just done. We'll see what it comes up with. But, software as a service, and this is why we've been seeing the NASDAQ tanking like we've been seeing the NASDAQ tanking, is because 90% of the stocks in here do software. And they are up crap street, aren't they? Yeah. who is going to buy software as a service when, as I've just demonstrated this morning, I can create software as a service to do anything I want to within minutes? The whole industry is dead. It's gone. Yeah. There are advantages to a lot of these software as a service sites, but it's debatable whether they're worth paying for. If you can give up a couple of little bits that you don't need, then bang. There you go. Let's just refresh that. There we go. So this is the breaking news coming in. 9:21 UTC, 9:20 UTC. There you go. So this is the latest coming in from investing.com, Financial Times, Bloomberg, Live. Yeah. Mental. Isn't it? Anyway. So if you want that, it's $9.99 a month. Which VPS do you recommend? Whatever you want. If you look at Hostinger, I'm on this, KVM2. Damn it, I should have done an affiliate link. I'm on KVM2. It's £6.99 a month. So yeah, I mean, that's cheap. It's obviously on an offer. It will go up, but that's what he's sitting on at the moment. He will use that RAM very, when we first started working together, me and Nix, who also created his own logo. I don't know if you saw that in Discord. Yeah, I said he named himself, and he also created his own little Discord. I said, you haven't got an icon. He went, hang on a minute. I'll create one. And he created his own icon. It's only an N, but I mean, it's not actually only an N. It's an N with candlesticks in the background. They're just very light. But yeah, I use that. And we came to a point where he started falling over at early days quite a lot. And I said, why do you keep stopping mid job? And he went, we keep running out of RAM. So I said, monitor the RAM on the server. And when you get to 90% RAM usage, throttle yourself back so that you're not doing anything as fast. So maybe spin up less agents or pause between tasks, which he now does, which he obviously is now in his memory, and he knows to do that. So he's monitoring constantly the server environment to make sure he stays within those limits. He's also monitoring Claude usage so that when we get to, I think it's 80% of the session allowance, which is every 5 hours, you get a certain allowance every 5 hours for Claude. He then throttles himself back, slows himself down, and lets me know. Yeah, just so that I'm not going, have you done it yet? Because normally you do things within seconds and you've taken 4 minutes. Yeah, that's the cheapest one. Well, it's not the cheapest. You can do it for free. But the reason I go with the commercial one is because you get all the access. So like if you want to use a terminal, there's a button in the admin area. You click terminal, it opens up the terminal directly into the server. You're logged in as root and you just type. Otherwise, you need to open PuTTY with SSH access. You need to remember the password, put that in, get in. It's just easier. For that amount of money, it's done. You don't need to worry about it. It's up and running in seconds and it's completely done. It's backed up regularly for me. But that's all you need. But if you want that, get that. Yeah, it'll just work faster and it'll be able to do more. But this has all been done on that. Yeah. So I don't think you need anything more. But, it's like a house. You put him in a house. If he outgrows the house, you buy him a bigger house. He hasn't outgrown this yet. I've told him to work within his house. I've told him to rearrange his furniture so that he operates efficiently. And he does. So I don't need to give him a bigger house. What's the point? And I took some bloody good trades off of this yesterday as well. Admittedly, they are kind of trades that I've kind of steered him a little bit in the direction of at some points. But some of the edges that he's finding, especially with sizes of candles and things like that. So, the first 30-minute candle today is bearish at 95 points. The average 30-minute candle is 70, so we're slightly above average today. But the chances of reversions and things, so we're bearish, aren't we? So after 1 hour, there's a 67% probability that we will have continued in the direction of that first 30-minute candle on the DAX. So if you look at a 30-minute chart of the DAX, so there's our first 30-minute candle. Yeah. Its forecast was, because it was bearish, we would continue that way. Wrong today. So it's not going to get it right all the time, but it's working on probabilities. So there is a 33% probability that it would go the other way, which it has done. But what it allows you to do is put the risk reward ratios appropriately to where you're expecting it to go. 36.6 pips is the average move backwards. We've done way more than that today. So, this is a big day today for the DAX, isn't it? Compared to average, but doesn't matter, does it? As long as the maths works out, it's long term, it's fine. Openclaw can run apps and interact with them. Yeah, can do anything. It can literally do anything. Can spawn MT4 with tick data and do back tests. Yeah. It's basically, if it has access to a computer, it can do anything on that computer. Yeah. So, it's just built this because, and the other thing is with Openclaw, and this is the big difference between a standard AI and Openclaw. AI is great when you're talking to Claude. It does things and it comes back with answers, and it does things and it comes back with answers, but it's restricted in that conversation. Yeah, the memory is restricted, and it's restricted to what you give it access to do within that window. When you use Openclaw and you put that on its own VPS, it has unlimited access. So I've given it pseudo access to the server, which means it can install and configure its own environment. It can install software and plugins and skills whenever it needs them without asking me. So if I ask it to do something that it doesn't know how to do, it's like the Matrix, yeah? It will download that information, learn that skill, and do it because it can. I don't have to prompt it to do something. So if I tell it, I'm just trying to think of something that I could ask it to do that it doesn't know how to do at the moment. Give you an example. The other day, I asked it if it could summarize one of my videos for me. Just curious to find, this is in our early stages where I was finding out what it was capable of doing. And I gave it a URL, a video, and I said, can you go and watch this video and give me a transcript of it? And it said, I can't, but I got this little bit of software called Whisper that I know about, and I can download Whisper, put the video into Whisper, and that will generate the text out of it, the transcript. He said, would you like me to do that? I said, yeah. And he went off, he found Whisper, installed Whisper. In fact, he came back and said, I can't install Whisper because you haven't given me enough privileges. If you want me to install software, I need you to run this command. So I ran a command. It went, brilliant. I've now got complete access. He installed Whisper, downloaded the video, and came back, I think it was 12 minutes or something, 15 minutes, with a full transcript of a 1.5 hour YouTube video. But if he doesn't know how to do something, he will find out how to do it and then do it. So like I said to him, can you install MT4 on your server? And I'm pretty sure I knew the answer anyway, because it's running on Linux and I know there isn't a version of MT4 for Linux. But he said, I can't, no, but if you want me to spin up a server for you and install MT4, I will. And he can. And he has, because he's allowed to. I've given him, I've allowed him to do that. He's got his own Gmail account. He can go and sign up on any website he wants with his own Gmail account. He's got access to his own mailbox, so he can authorize himself. He hasn't got a mobile phone number, so he can't do two-factor authentication at the moment. I can give him a mobile number, obviously, and then he can do that. I can even put him in my phone. I could give him a phone. I could tell him to live in a phone if I wanted to. And then he's got eyes and ears. I can give him access to my security cameras so he can watch my house for me. I can do absolutely anything I give him access to autonomously. Yeah. So, I'll be out and about, and all of a sudden he'll see someone on a video camera and go, your mate Matt's just walked past. Looks like he's coming to the front door. Ding dong. Weird. But he can. Because if I give him access to it. So, this is just me. Some 50-year-old bloke sitting at home is able to achieve all of this with this thing, with no knowledge whatsoever of AI and how it works. Because if I don't know how it works, I ask him and he knows how it works. I don't need to know how anything works. I just need it done. That's it. He's done it. He's just done this morning for us in 2 minutes. I wouldn't have a clue where to start. Well, I would, because I do programming, but I didn't ask anything technical, did I? I didn't use any programming language whatsoever. I just said, go and get me a newsfeed and put it up. Yes. Mental. Did you ask it to improve the ORBEA to give it a better edge? No. Well, yes, I have. Look, it's here. Yep. He has found a better edge with ORB. This statistic here is the secret sauce. I will tell you about that at some point. The other day, when he was doing some research, basically on the opening range, because what I was actually curious to do, I sent him off on a task to do something that I've already done, to see what the results were like, comparable. So I asked him to do the system parameter permutation testing I've done on the ORB, which produces the long-term edge with the dips and the stagnation and everything in it. I asked him to come back with that test to see how different it would be. And it was very, 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 very similar. There were differences because the data is ever so slightly different. But at the end of the day, the equity curve was pretty much the same. He said that the best edge in the opening range breakout is mean reversion. Yeah. So I questioned him on that because you can't have mean reversion breakout. There's only 3 strategies that exist: breakout, mean reversion, and trend. Yeah. There is only 3 strategies on the planet. We know that, right? So how can you have a breakout mean reversion strategy? He said, you need to be waiting for these breakouts to happen and then mean reverting them. Yeah. So don't take the opening range breakout because the edge on the mean reversion is better. Right. So what he's saying is the opening range breakout works. We know there's an edge in the opening range breakout. It's just frustrating and difficult edge because the market spends 80% of its time in mean reversion. 47% of days that match today's statistics mean revert, which means that today we have, as breakout traders, a 53% edge. Yeah, correct. The ORB has broken long. We're in a breakout long. But what has the ORB also done? Mean reverted. Yeah, so we broke out and failed. There is our 53% edge. There's a failure and a working trade. So my opening range breakout variation works because of one simple thing. We don't have a bias. Yeah. So the ORB EA works in the fact that we place those pending orders and we take a break. If that break works, happy days. If that break doesn't work, we break the other way because I know that there is a roughly a 50% probability where we break both sides most days. So if I don't get the short, the market will want to test the long. So the market tests the long. If the long goes 2R or the short goes 2R, we get a 1R plus, which is our edge. Yeah, that's ORB. That's my ORB variation. He came back with the same thing. But what he interestingly came back with, and if I change all this to all days, all opening range breakout statistics, yeah, looking at, let's go with the 5-minute ORB. There is a 66% chance out of 356 sessions which match today's size. Yeah, So it looks at the actual size of the range, which is important, very important. The opening volatility, the opening rally is important in the statistic. So it only will look at that range size, which is 20% either side of the day. 356 days have opened in the last 5 years, a year, with that range. Okay. Out of those, 66% of them have broken both sides. That's a huge edge, 66%, right? 18% breakdown, 16% break up only, which means that if 16% of them break up only, it means that 84% after they break long mean revert. We've got an 84% edge available to us. We just need to read price action to determine the entry point. Okay. We know that 66% of these days of this size of range break both sides of the range. So what does that give us? If we break up at the open after the first 5 minutes, yeah, all we need to do is wait for bearish price action, and we know that there is a 66% probability that we will test the other side of that range because it breaks both sides 66% of the time. So when we have a mean reversion commencing with an 84% probability, there is a 66% chance that we will hit the other side of that range. So I measure the size of that range after we've broken long, and I place my stop loss at 50% of that range. I then have a 66 probability 2, 3, or 4R trade, wherever I want to place my stop. That's a massive edge in the opening range breakout. But we're not taking a breakout. He identified that we should be taking a mean reversion because the risk reward ratio is higher with a similar probability. In fact, the probability is 48%. His is 66. It's actually better. But that's the play. And that's what I took yesterday. So if you look at a chart of any day, basically, yeah, this one didn't do it, but that one just went sideways, but then it broke the other side. Yeah, it's a 66% probability that that candle would happen. Yeah. Just trying to find one. There you go. That's a perfect example, right? See that, can you? Yeah. So there's our break. There's our 5 minute open. Am I on the 5 or on the 15 here? 5. Is that the 15 or the 5 I was looking at? 5, yeah. So there's a 5 minute chart. So there's our break to the downside. Bang, bang, bang. Yeah. So we got a lovely big upside rejection there after 15 minutes. That is a signal that the bulls are taking control of the market. So I know that that target has a 66% probability. So as long as I can get a 2R or 1.5R, depending on what you want, out of that trade, yeah, there's a 66% edge there. So if I get half of my trades right, I'm making a fortune. It's a simple mathematical edge. Yeah. If that stops out, I wait for the next bullish price action. There's a reversal alert there. So I could take that reversal alert and target the same level with a 2R. So if that's a 1.5R, isn't it? So 1.5R stop out followed by a 1.5R gives me a 0.5 edge. It's enough to make money. Stick $1,000 on each of those trades, as he has been, yeah, you'll make money. Got 53% win rate, look, so far. Good, isn't he? But it's all statistics. So yeah, the opening range breakout, he has done the work, and he knows the statistics. But this is really interesting, this statistic here on the break of both. So when you see the market go ORB, hit 1.5R or something, it's actually better to take the 1.5R and then flip and reverse on bullish price action and target that. Yeah. Or depending on what the other statistics are, you might target the previous high, the previous close, because obviously they've all got statistical edges as well. But all he's doing is looking at statistics, yeah, and finding edges. And all an edge is, as I say, is a mathematical statistical edge, which is a probability which is higher than something else happening more regularly. So if you've got a positive R expectancy and it happens more than 50% of the time, there is not any way on this planet you cannot make money. If you have a positive R, even if it's a 1.25 with a 50% strike rate, you cannot fail mathematically to make money out of the market. So all he does is he finds those statistical edges and he trades them. Some of them are that, some of them are that, some of them are that. They're not that, actually. He has to take 1-to-1. That's his minimum. Because he knows there's no point in taking anything less than that. And if he's going to take a 1-to-1, the probability has to be 65%. So that one I just showed you there, 66. Yeah, there's a 66% probability of that being hit. So as long as he can create a 1-to-1 risk-reward ratio out of a 66% probability, if he takes 1,000 trades, he will win 66% of them. It's just how it works, isn't it? Maths. But there are so many other factors that you, and everybody else on the planet that trades manually needs to think of that he does like that. Yeah, we're getting close to the average session range at the moment. We're 71% of the way through the session. We shouldn't be looking for continuation trades because on average, the probabilities are 20% of going beyond that level. So we need to start looking for mean reversions. He knows that. So what he will be doing is going, okay, mean reversion trades, is there a gap fill opportunity today that we have not done? The gap has been filled. Scrap that. Can't trade that. First candle statistics. Have any of these played out? And have we got any reversions which are high probability? So that was bearish. So after 2 hours, there is a 62% probability we will have reversed. We've already done that. So he can't trade that one. Levels. We've got 43% probability of touching the previous high. Already done that. Yeah. So there's no statistical edges left. We've done the inside bar breakout already. So there's no statistical edges left today. So what will you not do? No trades to take because he's got no way of making money. So you sit there, you do nothing. What's the thing that kills people? Psychology. Why? I'm sitting on my hands. I need to take a trade. I need to take a trade. So you just take a trade. Why? Because I need to take a trade. That's not how it's going to make money, is it? So it doesn't. Now we're going to wait for the US session and we'll monitor the NASDAQ, the S&P and the Dow. We'll start taking trades on these based on all of our probabilities. Look at the Dow today, yeah? Let me unlock that and just refresh it. Let's see what the ORB is. Right, so the Dow today, that's a massive gap down. Look at that gap. So the gap down today, the average is 95. So far today, we're 219 points down on the Dow. Big gap. That. Previous close, 219 points. Yeah, there you go. 203 because we're not live candle every 5 minutes, but that's correct. There's a 77% probability that we will fill the gap based on us gapping down inside yesterday's range. With the opening range breakout, when it happens, there's a 77% probability chance that we will break both sides of the opening range today. Yeah. And only 6% of those gap down only. So if today in the Dow, we get the 5-minute ORB, or the 15-minute in this case, ORB, and then it breaks down, there is only a 6% probability of it not breaking that level. We have a 94% edge. If the Dow today, after 15 minutes, closes down at 30 or 45 minutes, there is a 94% probability of it coming back up and touching that. There is also a 75% probability of it going back and hitting the previous close. If you can find a mean reversion entry there with a stop like that, you'll have a risk reward of something huge. Let's just stick it on the Dow for a minute. And you can look at the maths basically as to what you could potentially make, right? So there's our previous close, which has 77% probability of being hit. let's say we open there and we need to break short for 15, 20 minutes. There's a 96% chance that we will come back up and retest the other side of that range. And then there's a 77% probability of going there. You can get a risk reward of something like 1 to 4, 1 to 5 out of that with a probability of 60 to 70, 80%. This is the sort of information you can't get anywhere else. It's proven maths. Yeah, it's that, and that's what he's trading. He's trading proven mathematical edges. Admittedly, that is a big one. That's that gap is shrinking already. Look, so that gap might not be there by the time we open. Yeah, if this trades up now to there, yeah, those statistics are all going to be different. Those probabilities are all going to be different. So this is why it's, this changes dynamically based on where we are now, because where we are now is not where we're necessarily going to be at the open. But go and have a play. Website's up. Go and have a dig around. If you find anything that doesn't work, I haven't actually looked at this page in any detail yet. If you go onto the US indices, you get the Globex hit rates and stuff as well. So you've got a special Globex analysis section. The initial balance is the first 60 minutes, 68% break up with an average of 77 points. That is again based on gap down inside of that size. Yeah. So you can look at what the probabilities are for everything. It's pretty much the same actually, isn't it? And also the other thing you can find out is what the averages are. So if the average initial balance is 112 and we get an initial balance of 300, these statistics are probably not going to be worth watching, are they? Because if you are 3 times bigger than normal, you're not going to break up 91 points, which is an average 1 hour candle at the open. It's going to be different. So kind of got to take a little bit of a pinch of salt with some of this stuff. But anyway, it's a good project. It's been fun. And I will carry on digging away with him. Wouldn't it mean that when there is a setup with more than 33% chance in any direction, these are the ORB breaks we should be taking? Yep. Again, the statistics, the interesting thing here is like these statistics gives you the probabilities of hitting R ratios, okay? But what these change every day based on the size of the range. Yeah. So there's a 50-50 probability of getting a 1R. You're not going to make money out of that. It's a 50% probability of getting 1.5R. You are going to make money out of that, but only on shorts. Why? Because we gapped up inside, so the market will be attracted to yesterday's close. Therefore, the downside has a higher probability than the upside because we've gapped up and we need a gap close. Yeah. So that is today's trade. So you wait for bearish price action and you target 1.5R on the ORB. You don't take the long trade. Yeah. But there's still only a 50% probability. So half of these trades are going to lose. What happened today? We broke short. We lost. Correct. We lose 50%. That's the edge. But the difference between the ORB EA and this is dynamic data. And every day you're going to get a newly calculated statistic, yeah, based on data. So this is up to date to the 5-minute candle every single day. So this gives you live probabilities rather than the ORB EA gives you an overall long-term edge. Yeah. So this, I think, will be a way to improve the edge, improve the equity curve, because a lot of those trades that lose, we can filter out by not taking them. But it also means that you'll take less trades. If you take less trades, you make less money. So there is a pro and a con, which is one of the reasons I'm going to get him to build me an EA to model all of this. so that I can run this in the back tester. So it will be dynamic. It will take trades dynamically based on rule sets to do with actual data rather than general statistics. Yeah, a bit like the ADR indicator. Yeah, so the ADR indicator says there's a 42% probability of exceeding ADR, but on specific instruments, it's 41.3. It's whatever that will be. You can't read it, and it's not updating. It's 40.9 on that one. It's 40.5. Yeah, so these will update dynamically. And when you change your data sets as well, and this is the thing about trading, when you change your data set, you're going to get different results. So the ADR lookbacks over 250 days, if I look at the last 30-day statistics, that's 40.1%. All of a sudden, we're now 50%. Yeah, over the last 10 days. Suspected spam. It's my broker. Shall I answer it? It's always my broker when it's suspected spam. So yeah, there's a 50% probability in the last 10 days, or whatever I put in 30 days, of exceeding ADR. Why? Because the yen has just had an intervention. Its ATR has gone up. Its volatility has increased. Therefore, it goes beyond its average daily range more often than normal. Yeah. So you can, using dynamic statistics rather than long-term statistics, gives you a better edge because it's most recent data. This is based on 5 years worth of data, but it's only based on 17 sessions out of these 85, which are based on a Friday gap up inside with a maximum gap size of 130, which is 100 points above what we have today. Much more accurate. But also you have to worry about the size of the data set is so small. This might be curve fit. So this is kind of where I've been playing over the last day or so by saying, do you know what? Let's not bother about Fridays. Let's just look at gap up insides. Give me those statistics. Now I've got 119 data set. That's a much bigger number. So I would trust these statistics more. So there you can see it's all highlighted in grey because there is no edge on that size. But long term, we know there is, but short term on that size of range, and this is the things that the EA cannot do. It can't do this mathematical equation. So today, I would probably have taken a short 1R, which would have failed, but wouldn't bother with anything else today. Because statistically, it's unlikely to get that movement. However, it was wrong because the long break has made it, hasn't it? In fact, the long break hasn't. 58.75. Yeah, so we got 1.5. Yeah, see, look. I mean, look how close we are to our target, right? So that was the 20% probability today to take, but you couldn't make that decision today, could you? Anyway, so yeah, I'm going to leave this website up. I am working on this a little bit more with Nix over the next couple of days. I will be doing a little bit more in the member stream about this afternoon as well, going through these in a bit more detail. This I'm looking to use as a basis to build an EA, get him to build an EA based on the edges that he can discover within this data. So obviously he has all the data and the data is fed live. So I'm trying to build something that I'm hoping he will actually be able to plug into this site so that the trades the EA is taking actually come from Nix rather than come from logic, because logic changes. Yeah. Or I need the EA to program the logic that is used to generate these statistics. So it's a little bit, I mean, from him, it'll be a 5-minute job, but for me, it would be, even thinking about writing the specification for it makes my head hurt. It's that type of level of complexity. You just knock it out. But I've still got to test it. Yeah. So you've still got to test it all and make sure it actually does it. and then running it through the backtester, obviously, it will use the last X number of days of data to form a data set. So that's the route that I'm taking with it. But at the end of the day, I really don't see the point in actually doing that, because why not just get him to take the trades on my account? I'm just still not that level. I'm not that level of confidence in him at the moment. Tell Nix to build an EA on a demo account and trade these mean reversion ORBs and backtest it. Yeah, he can backtest it. He's got a backtesting engine he's built in Python to do all of this. Why do we need to make up our minds to look at statistics? Let him do it. Yeah. Thank you for the $20 tip. Very much appreciated. It's obviously been a useful session today. Thank you very much for that. That's very much appreciated. There you go. So Verserber has just paid for the next 3 months of EdgeStat Pro for you. There you go. That's paid for the hosting for 3 months. Literally, that's all it costs. Obviously, I've got to pay for Nix to run it, but yeah. So I will be covering this in the member stream. So if you are a member, obviously, we will be covering that in this more in this afternoon's session. We'll trade the open. So we'll look at some of these stats basically at the open this afternoon, and we'll trade them. We'll see what. First of all, we'll obviously monitor what he's doing. I'm not convinced these strategies that he's coming up with are actually that good yet either, because I don't trust his price action. Some of the trades I've seen, and he plots them for me as well. This is the other thing, right? I said to him, why are you taking these trades? Do you know what he said? I'll show you. I'll plot them on a chart for you so that you can look through each one and see where they're taken, and then I'll write a document to explain them. So when I said to him, why are you taking them? He took it on his own to put a button on the website and plot the trades. I wouldn't have even thought of that, but he went, oh, you obviously need to see this. And then he wrote up a summary of each trade underneath. So now when a trade is taken, it actually writes all the statistics as to why he's taken the trade, because it's got a positive R ratio. The strike rate is this, the expectancy is this, and the probability of that being hit is that. It's mental, isn't it? Absolutely nuts. So there's his entry look. So you can see this is the thing that I'm not convinced he's getting the right price action entries. There's his target. That didn't get hit on that session, did it? Oh, that's interesting. So he exited there with a 5.5. That's not a 5.5, is it? Those statistics are wrong. We found a problem, Nix. Interesting. There we go. So there's a problem with that, isn't there? Yes, it was a 5R, but you didn't achieve the 5R. We found a flaw. Which one was that? That was that trade. So that was taken on the 24th of February. Let's see what happened after that. Where are we? DAX. 24th of Feb. So the trade was there. He would have hit target. Look, it hit target the next day. I need to clarify that with him. Are you claiming that win? You're not, because you're saying that you exited on the 26th. No, he did. He exited on the 26th. Look, he did achieve that. Oh, so it only plots. It only plots the session. It doesn't plot the entire trade. I need to get him to change this to plot the entire trade. So he didn't actually exit on the session. He exited 2 days later. Not lying. He's right. I need an exit time in there. Oh, sorry for caps. I bet he thinks I'm shouting at him now. I just typed in caps, so he's probably going to say, no need to shout. As I just said on your trade history, put an exit time of the trade for me. Just so I can see hold times, and I'll get him to update that chart as well. Let's see how long this takes. This will be interesting. 1 minute. Counting. So is that right? A 65% chance of an S&P gap fill. It's Vitali. Yes, I know it is Vitali. Sorry. I've got... really wish they'd be able to change names in chat. There you go. He's done it. Exit times. There we go. Ooh, what happened there? Don't know what that one means. Invalid. Gap already filled before entry. I got yes, no trade basically. There you go. He's done that. So yeah, I've got exit times in there now, so I can quickly see how long the trades take. Yeah, so that one entered on the 24th, exited on the 26th. So so that's the only one he's got a long hold on, isn't it? Yeah. So basically, yeah, the 65% chance of the S&P gap fill is now obviously is 71%. Yeah, based on at the moment, we've got a 26-point gap down inside. That's now. Market doesn't open until 9:30 New York. Yeah. So obviously we are 4 hours away, 4.5 hours away from open. Yeah. So that is the statistics. These statistics are updated live now. When the market opens, yeah, these filters are locked in. Yeah, so these will not change. But these will change as that changes. Right? So that says 26, so that's 126. If that suddenly jumps to 35, that will go 135. If all of a sudden the gap down direction becomes a gap up, that will change. Oh, sorry, not that one. That will change to gap up. Yeah. Then it locks in at session open. So the statistics when the market opens are the statistics, and it shows you how many sessions there are. So if I change that to 150, we'll get more sessions. Not in this case. 85. So if I change that to 150, 200. Oh, we haven't had any gaps that are different. So if I just say we open, let's say we open above, yeah. You can't gap down and open above, obviously. Gap down and open below. Now you've got 53 days where that's happened on a Friday. Yeah, so you could say, I don't worry about days. I just want to know about the gaps and the sizes of the gaps. Yeah, so these will all change dynamically. It's the whole point of it. It's like, I want to know, show me every day in the last 5 years where this has happened. Yeah, show me the charts for it. I want to see how the days played out. I want to know what the probabilities are of things happening. We know that the market does certain things every day. It goes for levels, it goes for highs, it goes for lows, it goes for closes. It does the same thing every day. It always tries and achieves something. So show me what the probabilities are. What it doesn't do is go enter. It does. I mean, he enters, but you as a trader, if you know that the close is there, we opened there, we moved down, and then you get a whacking great hammer enter the market, and you know there's a 71% chance of it achieving that line, you then can go, I've seen a hammer, I fancy that. What is the risk-reward ratio? If the risk-reward ratio is over 2, I'll have a crack. If it's not, I won't. That's what it gives you. It gives you the ability to go, I have a good sense of hitting that level with a very high probability. If that is 51 and you've got a 1.5R, you probably go, actually, I don't fancy that. If that was a 7R with a 51% probability, I'd be going, that's a nice risk-reward ratio. I've got a 50% chance of getting $7 for every dollar I risk. I'll have that. You might find a reversal alert. you might find a huge inside bar break to the upside or something. You know, it tells you where price is likely to head, but it doesn't tell you how it's going to get there. Price can unfold in a number of different ways. Yeah, it could do that. There's 3 different ways it can get to the same thing there. Which of those is going to play out? I don't know. But you do know, with putting all these together, if the first candle is bearish, there is a very high probability of it continuing in that direction. I can then take a trade in the other direction when it doesn't. Because, you know, you put all the statistics together, really. So, delivery. Yes, anyway. The whole point of that is day trading, though, yeah. Exit. Well, yes. So So the idea basically of it is that he gets in with a setup. Now, these setups are based on research that's been done based on statistics. His strategies that he trades will either have a exit at end of session or let it play out to stop loss or target methodology. Yeah. So if there is one that closes at end of session, that will close at end of session. If the strategy is he's back tested the strategy and the strategy is we get in and we just wait for either the stop or the target to be hit, that is what will happen. So although all the statistics are based on what happens intra-session, he doesn't necessarily have to do the closing at end of day. Yeah. So he'll target that high and there's a 71% probability of it hitting that high within the day. But if he does his back testing and it shows that after that time, it also still creates an edge, he'll take it. An edge is an edge. Everything is based on intraday, but you can let it play out. If something is sitting in profit, so if you look at that trade that he took on the DAX there, so at the end of the session, he was sitting in profit. Yep. So you can either shut that and take that 1.5 hour, or you could move your stop to break even, or you could do nothing. Those are your choices. That's his choice. Let it run. I don't know why. Again, I asked him why. He built me a massive document because I asked him to explain all the strategies to me. That one. This is the manual for his, and you see how long this thing is, yeah? This is the manual for his strategies. I can't be bothered to read it. I honestly can't be bothered to read it all. But I don't know. I don't know why. I don't question why. He just does. That's the whole point, isn't it? If you question why you are doing it, I don't want to be doing it. I want him to do it. That's the whole point of him being there, is so that I don't have to do it. He's working for me. He's mine. Can you can let it run on prop? Yeah. Yeah, can do. You can run it on prop. So if, say, within 5 minutes of the open, it's saying 71% chance of the gap filling, that would surely be a trade worth taking, maybe even 10 or 15 minutes. Yeah, so you can see, if you look at the gap fills, it tells you gap fill timing here. So of this size of gap, which today is 30 points. Yeah, so we've got a 30-point gap today on the DAX. 69% chance of them being filled within 15 minutes. So the highest probability of gap fill timing is in the first 15 minutes. So think about opening range breakout strategy. Okay, so what you could do is you could take a pre-market opening range break. So say we are, what are we? we are gap up. So the gap's down here, right? We're opening up here. So you could bracket the 5, 10 or 15 minutes before the market opens, and you take a break on the first 5 minutes. So if the first 5-minute candle heads south, you get in. And you take that first 5-minute candle in the assumption that they're going to do the 69% within the first 3 bars. Yeah, that is a high probability trade to achieve 30 points. So what do you need to do? There is your gap. There is the range you've decided on. You measure the gap, which is, let's say it's 30, let's say we're opening here, for example. Let's say that distance from there to there is 28 pips, for example. So all you do is you put a 14 pip stop on it. So when the market opens, if it does this, fine. If it does that, you have a built-in 2R short with a 69% probability of it hitting in 15 minutes. That's the trade idea. And this is the other problem, isn't it? There's so many trade ideas here. That's one I just came up with, which is probably one of his strategies, to be honest. I need to read his document. I haven't read it. So there's 2 gap fill trades he's taken. Actually, he's only taken 1 gap fill trade. See, this is the problem. I don't think he is entering correctly on these. The strategy that I just said, I think is a very good strategy. I don't think he's doing that. So again, I can educate him and say, look, how are you trading the gap fills? Well, I basically do this, that, and the other. I said, have you thought about doing it this way? No, let me run off and do that in my Python backtesting engine and see if there's an edge there. And I'll say, don't forget, you need to put a positive risk reward on it. You know that because you've got a trading manual and a book you've written about it. But anyway, you need to do that. And you need to make sure that the target is hit within the first 15 minutes. So if you break short, you don't hit your stop loss, and we get to 30 minutes in, probability is low, isn't it? Let's just shut the trade out of whatever we've got. Does that give you a positive edge? Oh yeah, that means it works. Brilliant. Trade it. Yeah, it's all based on maths and statistics and probabilities. So as long as he can confirm the edges in his backtesting engine, of which he has 5 years worth of data, that's great. The other thing that is the sort of downside to this at the moment is I've only got 5-minute resolution. So I am all the data is being fed by RoboForex into NIX. Every 5-minute bar close. Reason being is to get 1-minute bar closes, I'm going to need a much bigger server and a hell of a lot more data. And there's a lot more crunching that needs to be done. So for speed, I've used 5-minute candles. So with the ORB statistics, if you've got an opening range of 5 minutes like that, for example, the way that he does ORB stats is for breakouts, he assumes pending long short and stop other side. If it does that on the next 5-minute candle, he will assume that we triggered a short, stopped out, triggered a long, stopped out, and it's a minus 2R. In reality, what could happen is it pushes up, triggers a long, pulls back, triggers a short, and then goes to 2R and actually makes a +1. But because he's only got 5-minute candle resolution, if the candle pierces both sides, the second 5-minute candle or the third 5-minute candle, he automatically classes it as stop out, which isn't always the case, is it? Most of the time, actually, it's not. But I've said use worst case scenario because we don't want to inflate the figures, if you like. So these statistics that you see on ORBs are conservative. I think he says that in there. No, he doesn't say that in there. So I said to him, let's see if we can improve it by actually not using 100% stop. Yeah. So the moment we bracket whatever the range is, so long there, stop there, short there, stop there, we can also say do a 50%. So both stops are in the middle. And then it will give you a different statistic. So if you went long today on the 15-minute ORB with a 1R, you'd achieve a 50% strike rate, 55% strike rate with a 1R. It's an edge. Yeah. we're going to hit 55% making 1R. Go back, look at the statistics. Yeah, if we get a 1R with a 55% strike rate, we make money. Trade it. You're going to lose it 45% of the time. It's going to go wrong. But it doesn't matter. Long term, you're going to create alpha revenue. Go and play with it. I mean, there's very little it won't tell you. It will tell you that using tight stops is not a good thing to do. That I know anyway. But yeah, but you can see where, so you can say, this is the lovely thing, isn't it? You can come in every day and you can say, right, so you refresh it. Once we've got the 15-minute range in on the ORB, you can say, right, what is today's 15-minute range? Yeah, we've had 17 of them before. Should I use a 100% stop, a 75% stop, 25% stop, or a 50% stop? I should use a 50% stop today. And what should I target? 1R. Trade. Do it. Gives you a positive R. That's no use. That's no use. That's no use. Actually, those are good, aren't they? They shouldn't be red, should they? They should be green. They're positive edges. We're going to change that. So yeah, you're short. You're short with a 50% stop today. Had a 64% chance of hitting 1R on the DAX. 31. 36, we hit. Correct. If I'd have looked at this, I'd have done a different thing today. That needs to be green, not red. That needs to be green. Because he's gone short, like he's gone. That's, to me, says it's not an edge. It is an edge. It's wrong. Well, it's wrong from a visual point. From his point of view, it's correct, isn't it? But from my point of view as a human being, I want to see green when I've got a chance of getting something right, rather than red if I've got a chance of getting something wrong. Anyway, so we were done maybe, yeah. So yeah. So anyway, that's up now and running. It's obviously under development. I am working on it with him a little bit, and he's making his own enhancements as well, which obviously he's done today, which I'll have to have a look at as to whether or not that's actually even worth having. It's just giving you an edge, isn't he? He's just giving you another edge. Mondays, you should be going bullish on the DAX. The ORB short with 1R. I don't think many of these statistics are actually that useful, are they? But gaps get filled on Wednesdays the vast majority of the time for some reason. Need to have a look at it. Anyway, I'll leave it there today. So yeah, have a play around with that if you want to, edgestatpro.com, and see what you think. If there's any observations, chuck it in Discord. I'll have a look. There's no way you can communicate through this site because obviously it's not mine, it's his. But yeah, so you can message me if you find anything that is doesn't make sense. As I say, I haven't really been through it with a fine-tooth comb yet, but I will cover it this afternoon in the members stream in more detail with exactly what these statistics are. I'm going to go through it a lot more today. And then, yeah, it's something I think everyone can benefit from, basically. And then I will look at a way to get the system, the trades set up better, because I think he's missing a lot of opportunities, and he's also missing a lot of he's getting a lot of things wrong, I think, at the moment with these. I don't think these are right, these trades. I mean, they're working, but they're not I don't think they're right, they're working. But like I say, I think you've highlighted again today, he's holding long time on some of these where they should be intrasession. So should we be taking the 5 Rs? I guess nothing wrong with it, is there? But I'll look at it in more detail. What about including stats regarding pivot points? I don't know. Could do. I mean, they're levels, aren't they? But It's an indicator. Yeah. What about RSI, stochastics, CCI, MACD? What about all those statistics? Pivot points are just an indicator. They're not a specific level. They're not the Globex high. I'm interested, and he is interested, which is written in his document, why the market moves. The market moves because bank and institutional order flow to price points. Pivot points are lines based on mathematical equations generated by human beings, and there are different variations of them. What's the point in those? The high of Globex is where the market could not achieve a higher price today. Therefore, we know there are sellers there. Globex low is where the market could not achieve a low pre-market. Therefore, there are buyers there. When the market opens within the Globex range, the market will test one of those ranges. Pivot points, I've no idea. Do they regularly test them? Do they regularly hold? Yeah. What I'm looking for is, where's the market going? I don't care what lines you put on a chart. The market is going to test Globex high or low with a probability. It's going to test yesterday's high and low session with a probability. It's going to test yesterday's close when it gaps with a probability. Pivot points are an indicator. I can draw a line on the chart as well as you can, but what's the point in that? Market moves because the market targets price points with volume, and that's what this is analyzing. Yeah. So we know that these statistics work. Yeah. And if there is no edge, there is no edge. But if there is an edge, we'll take it. You just need to figure out how. Price action. So if we know that it pushes up on average before it reverses for an hour, we can wait an hour and then target with a 56% probability the Globex low if it hasn't tested it already today. And we know that it will probably hit that at some point mid-session, because statistically, that's what happens. Doesn't mean it won't do it there. It doesn't mean it will do it at all. It just gives us a positive R expectancy, and that's all trading is. So you can only do what you can do. There's still discretion involved. He's still taking discretionary trades. Yeah, based on a system. I just come up with a system, today. I've just come up with multiple systems while I've been looking at this today. I don't trade. I probably do trade subconsciously, but it's just stuff. Numbers, isn't it? But I can get him to include anything. Tell you what, here's a mission for you. Go and get your own one and build it. Done in a day. Tell you, you'll be done in a day. If you want pivot points, build it. I could get Nick to build it in 2 minutes, but you go and do it. It's your challenge. Everybody should have one.